Hello students, welcome to Classroom Learning. Today we are going to see Class 5th Unit 8, The Little Bully. Do you know of any child who teases others or pushes them around? What would you call such a child? If a child teases you or makes fun of you or pinches you or injures you unnecessarily by pricking pin, what do you call such a person? Such a person is called bully. So here is a story about a little boy named Hari. So thus the title of this story is The Little Bully, that we are going to see today. How the little boy named Hari troubles other children. Once upon a time, not so very long ago, there was a small boy called Hari. Although he wasn't very big, he was strong, and he loved to tease all the boys and girls who went to school with him. What he loved to do most was to pinch. He could make a big bruise appear in half a second. Another trick he played was pricking people with a pin. So, now you understand what he used to do. He used to tease all the children who were going to school along with him. He also pinches them. He injures them by giving blows. Sometimes he uses a pin to prick them. Doesn't it hurt? Yes. So everyone who all with the boy named Hari disliked him. So you can guess how all the children hated him. They tried pinching him back, but that was no good because he could always pinch harder. So they also tried to pinch him back, but the boy Hari used to pinch him more harder than before. That's what they didn't pinch. They didn't like telling their teacher because that was telling tales. If they tell about Hari to the teacher will think that the children are telling stories. Tales means stories about Hari, and that will be all false. All the lies they are telling about Hari, the teacher will think like that. That's what they didn't tell to the teacher. It so happened that the class went for a picnic to the seaside for a whole day. So once the whole class went for a picnic on a seaside, to a seaside for a whole day. All the children were most excited. So all the children were very excited to go there. They were very eager to know there. They were very enthusiastic, or they were felt very very happy to go to the seaside for a picnic. On that day, the sun shone bright, and all the children were wild with excitement. So, all the children were very, very excited. They were very happy. They were unable to stop their excitement of going to the seaside for a picnic. They crowded into the train and sat down. There, all the children crowded into the train. Means they sit together. But nobody wanted to sit next to Hari because he always pinched. So you know what happened there? When they boarded in the train, they sat very congestedly. They sat very close to each other, but they don't want to sit beside Hari because he always pinched them. When they arrived at the seaside, out jumped all the children with a shout of joy. So when they reached the seaside, all the children jumped and shouted with joy. So this way they expressed their excitement. Down to the sands they raced, hand in hand, but nobody took Hari's hand. Nobody went near him. So, when they reached the seaside, they raced there. Down to the sands, they raced hand in hand. So, taking hand or holding their hands together, they raced on the sand. But no one went near Hari. No one holded Hari's hand. Hari was angry. He went to a sandy corner near a rocky pool and sat down by himself. So Hari became very angry, and so he went to sit in a sandy corner near a rocky pool. So rocky pool means a small puddle where he chose to sit. And it was a rocky pool. Rocky means there were full rocks. You can see in the picture how Hari was sitting on the rocks. So he sat down alone. That means here he sat down by himself means he sat down alone there. He took out his lunch and looked at it. So he took out his lunch box and looked at it. He opened all the things, whatever he brought there for lunch. It was a good lunch. So he brought a very, very good lunch. What was there in the lunch? That we'll see. There were 2 hard boiled eggs. He brought 2 hard boiled eggs, 6 jam sandwiches, 3 pieces of bread and butter, a ginger cake, and a bar of chocolate. So such a good lunch he brought there. So what all things he had? 2 hard boiled eggs, 6 jam sandwiches, 3 pieces of bread and butter, a ginger cake, and a bar of chocolate. So all these things he brought for the lunch. He would eat it all by himself. So he ate all those things alone. He wouldn't offer anything to anyone. He didn't even ask other children to have it. Just as he was beginning on the eggs, he heard a hoarse voice near him. So as he was started to eat the eggs, he heard a rough sound. Hoarse sound means a rough voice, rough sounding sound. Good morning. I am so pleased to meet you, boy like you. Hari turned around and stared in fright. Whatever do you think he saw? So the voice said, Good morning. I am so pleased. I am so glad to meet you, a boy like you. The voice said, I am very, very happy to meet you. Hari turned around. Hari turned to see who is talking, and he stared in fright. He looked fixedly at that in fright. So he was very, very frightened. So he stared at that object which was talking to him. So whatever do you think he saw? You can see the picture here. It's a crab. Hari saw a monster crab walking sideways out of the pool. So there was a big monster. Monster means a huge one. A huge crab came out of the rocks, sideways out of the pool. It came out of the pool. His eyes were on the ends of short stalks, and he looked most queer. He kept his eyes, his eyes were on the ends of short stalks. So you can see that stalk means main axis or a main stem of a plant. So it's not a plant, it's a crab. So you can see the structure here. These were also look like a stem of a plant, and on which the crab have its eyes. So it is said here that his eyes were on the ends of his short stalks. So on the short stalks the crab had its eyes, and he looked most queer. So the creature that was the crab looked more queer. Queer means strange, odd. He held out his front claw to hurry. He held out, he gave his hand. Held out means he gave his hand to hurry. Front claw to hurry. Hurry put out his hand to shake the crab's claw. So he also put out his hand to shake the crab's claw. To shake, and what we do? We held out our hands. We held out our hands. So the same Hurry did the crab's claw, but to his surprise and anger, the crab opened his pincers and nipped his hand so hard that the little boy yelled. So it opened its pincer. You can see the pincer here. What will happen if you place your hand between the pincer? It will get pinched, or we can say it is nipping him. It is holding very tightly in its pincer. So it held with its pincer so hard that the Hurry shouted so loudly. He yelled in pain. Yelled means a loud cry. Hurry gave a loud cry in pain. Ah, here is my good cousin, said the crab pleasantly, and to Hurry's horror he saw a large sandy lobster crawling heavily out of the pool. So what he said? Ah, here is my good cousin. The crab said, here is my good cousin. Who is the cousin here? The lobster. The crab called the lobster his cousin. And to Hurry's horror, he saw a large sandy lobster crawling heavily out of the pool. And now, by that time, Hurry was very afraid about this incident, and within no moment he saw the lobster there. That was a big, large lobster crawling out heavily. You can see the lobster. So it crawled. The moment they walk, such as reptiles, the movement is called crawling, such as lizards, ants, lobster, turtles. All these animals crawl. So he saw a large sandy lobster crawling heavily out of the pool. Before the little boy could stop him, the lobster took his hand in his great pincer like claws and pinched it so hard that Harry yelled in pain. So the lobster also has its pincers. You can see here. It hold Harry's hand and pinched him very tightly. So Harry yelled in pain. Harry shouted loudly in pain. Then he stared at the pool in surprise, for out come sandy colored shrimps and prawns. So the other marine animals such as lobsters, crabs, prawns, all these are shrimps, all these are marine animals, or they live in waters such animals are called water animals or marine animals. So who all came out? Sandy colored shrimps and prawns, more crabs and another large lobster, and they pricked Harry till he was soon black and blue with their pinching. So all these water animals came out and pinched Harry, thus he turned blue black or black blue. Don't you like it? Said all the creatures in surprise. All the animals, all the marine animals asked Harry about, don't you like it? Don't you like it? Why, we were told you would love to see us because you were a champion pincer and pricker yourself. Come, come, join in the fun. So you are a champion, you are a great pincher. So why don't you join us? It will be fun to join together, asked the creatures. Harry leapt to his feet, crying loudly. His lunch rolled into the pool, and when the crabs and lobsters saw it, they ran to it and began to feast eagerly. So, what happened when he cried loudly by hitting or tapping his feet? What happened? All the lunch which he had on his lap rolled down, fell down to the ground into the pool. And when the crabs and lobsters saw that, they all ran on it to have the feast, to have the lunch. So all the marine animals ate it eagerly. Harry saw that they had forgotten him for a time, and he turned and ran for his life, tears streaming down his cheeks. So what happened? Harry saw that they had forgotten him for a time, and he turned and ran for his life. So he wanted to save his life from all these marine animals. So he ran towards their friends and teacher with tears rolling down from his cheeks. The cheeks were on his cheeks there were tears. The water from the eyes when we cry come out are called tears. They only did to me what I kept doing to the other children, he thought. So that Harry began to think that what he had done to other children, the same thing the marine animals, the creatures, did to him. But how it hurt, and how I hated those crabs and lobsters. I suppose the other children hate me too. Well, I jolly well shan't pinch or prick any more. So what he thought? Now onwards, so the children also felt the same injuries, the same way as I hurt the lobsters, crabs, and shrimps. The children also feel like hating me because I hurt them. I injured them by pinching, pricking. So now onwards, I will not pinch them, he decided. He said, well, I jolly well shan't pinch or prick any more. So he said, for my happiness, for which I enjoyed pinching and all, now onwards I will not do all these things. So I hope you all understood the meaning and the lesson. So what we have to do? Now tell me, where was the class going for a picnic? The class was going for a picnic on the seaside. How was the weather? The weather was hot and sunny, or we can say the sun shone bright. The weather was hot and shiny, or sunshine bright. What did Harry do when he was angry? When Hari was angry, he went and sit in a sandy corner near a rocky pool by himself. What did he take out? He take out his lunch. So what all things he had for the lunch? He had 2 hard-boiled eggs, 6 jam sandwiches, 3 pieces of bread and butter, a ginger cake and a bar of chocolate for his lunch. What type of lunch was it? It was a good lunch. What happened to Hari's lunch? Hari's lunch rolled into the pool. What did the crabs and lobsters do upon seeing it? They all feasted on it. Who forgot Hari for a time? The crabs and lobster forgot Hari for a time because they saw the lunch. I hope you all understood the lesson. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.